It's the end of the year, and here is a compilation of some of the best TikTok conspiracy theories that we covered in 2023. Part 1. Hope you guys enjoy. Now, this is an old theory that we're revisiting. Comment down below if you've heard or seen this one before.
Look at your M closely. There's a gap right here in the letter M. It's never connected. So you go into Hebrew. The letter Vav is also the number 6. Short top, long tail. Short top, long tail. You could have here in Hebrew 666 on the can. But my interest is the word monster. What do you see in the O?
A cross.
There's a cross. Okay. What has Christ got to do with an energy drink, let alone the name Monster? Here is the message. Antichrist. 666 in Hebrew. And then the Bible talks about the beast in Revelation. And look at Monster's ad. This is their statement.
Monster Energy, unleash the beast. Oh, hey, she's cooking. She's cooking.
You see these M's everywhere. Hats, t-shirts, bumper stickers. Is there another agenda here? If God can use people and product, so can Satan.
Whoa. Yo, that's crazy. She reached right there. She said, if God can use people to spread his message, so could Satan. I know so many people that will drink those energy drinks when they need those extra boosts, but I remember hearing somebody told me, I think it was a bartender told me years and years ago, that they don't even put those drinks in their lines, you know, where they be spitting out the, you know, the water or the soda or whatever the beverage is, or the beer into your glass, because those drinks are so acidic that they burn the pipes. They melt them. They make them deteriorate. Imagine what it's doing to your insides. I have a cousin who used to drink that stuff all the time. She was developing kidney stones like crazy. Careful, you guys, with those things. They're not the best for you.
And look at it this way. Even if the M was not the issue, you cannot deny that that is a cross. And what is witchcraft? When the cross goes upside down.
Oh, will you turn it up? Will you turn it up? Hey, she is cooking. She is cooking. Will you turn it up and you drink it? That whole thing done empty down inside of you. You made that cross on that can turn upside down. Now it's working its magic on you.
Bottoms up.
Bottoms up.
Train people to be ignorant with style. They give you the equipment that you need to be a functional ignoramus. American schools do not equip you to deal with things like logic. They don't give you the criteria by which to judge between good and bad in any medium or format.
Preach.
And they prepare you to be a usable victim for a military-industrial complex that needs manpower. As long as you're just smart enough to do a job and just dumb enough to swallow what they feed you, you're going to be all right.
Ooh. Ooh, this man is spitting. He said, as long as you're just smart enough to do a job and just ignorant enough, dumb enough to eat what they feed you, you're going to be all right. That's why so many people feel miserable. Because, yeah, truth be told, they are going to just be all right. They can live their lives doing exactly what the system has orchestrated for them to do. But they won't be truly happy. You can't control people if people are happy. But you can control an ignorant mind. You can control someone who needs guidance. It's outlined in that book that I was telling you guys about, Outwitting the Devil by Napoleon Hill. Link down in the description box below. Or you can listen to the audio version, which I recommend, right here on YouTube. Just look it up, Outwitting the Devil. It's so fascinating to hear this conversation between the narrator and the voice that's playing the devil himself.
Google just released a ChatGPT 4 competitor called Google Gemini, and the video is absolutely insane.
Tell me what you see. I see you placing a piece of paper on the table. I see a squiggly line. It looks like a bird to me. The bird is swimming in the water. It has a long neck and beak. It is a duck.
Would this float?
I'm not sure what material it's made of, but it looks like it might be rubber or plastic.
What if I tell you it's making a squeaking sound?
Oh, if it's squeaking, it's definitely going to float.
Okay.
You see what this Google Gemini AI is doing? It is thinking. It is directly interacting with a human being, able to see what this human is doing and understand what it's doing. If they put this freaking technology inside of a robot, oh Lord. Oh Lord.
Based on what you see, come up with a game idea. Oh, and use emojis, please.
So right now, this is a map that he's showing to Google Gemini. Watch what happens here.
We can play a game called Guess the Country. This country is the home of the kangaroo, the koala, and the Great Barrier Reef.
Oh, that's easy.
He pointed to it on the map, and in real time, it used emojis to say correct.
That's crazy. This type of AI, this is exactly the piece of AI that we need that will catapult us into a negative future. Google might see this and get very upset with me, but no, hear me out, listen. Because think about it. This is one positive, right? Positive, negative, I would say. Those two things don't supposed to go together, but we gonna, for the sake of this video, this piece of AI technology can keep people from being bored. It's almost like it can be your friend because you can talk to it, you can have conversations with it, almost like how ChatGPT is, but more interactive. But here's the negative aspect of that. Less and less people will be interacting with actual human beings.
It used emojis to say correct.
You are trying to get me to find the paper ball under the cup. I accept the challenge.
It's the left one.
The cup to the left.
That's insane.
The only way people will accept these things is if they nerf how smart these things can actually be. Which, how do you do so? How do you nerf this thing's capability of learning and understanding? If anything, the way you do stuff as a tech creator, a tech builder, is you make the product better. So what does making a product like this better look like? By making it easier to use, more intuitive, and have even better learning capabilities. We're doomed. Oh, we are so doomed.
This MIT scientist is going to explain the existence of God, and it is incredible. Let's
All right, let's hear this.
watch it.
Background from MIT, Massachusetts Institute of Technology, bachelor's, master's, PhD, 7 years in the physics staff, seen a whole range of atomic bombs detonated, moved to Israel, met my wife, Barbara Sofer, a great writer. And one of the questions that I'm asked as a scientist is, how can a scientist really believe that there's something what we refer to usually as God? You know, is this metaphysical whatever acting in the world or producing the world? And the irony is, the question's really a non-starter. Science has in fact discovered God, and you can talk to the hardline atheists and they will say, it looks like science has indeed discovered God. And how would that be? Well, if you take the trouble of going to the web and there type in WMAP, the initials for a satellite, it's a diagram that shows the development of the universe from the creation over time. It's a timeline. Every word on that diagram comes from the NASA site. It is the condensed knowledge of the scientific community of how the universe created and how it got to where we are today. Each of the lines, the vertical lines, is another billion years. Okay, you start from a burst of energy at the extreme left side of the diagram, and you end up at the far end with the oval. The oval is to indicate expansion in all directions. Of course, because it's a timeline, we can't show that on a single piece of paper. We see here, most amazingly, that on the extreme left edge, it shows a beginning to the universe. Now, go back less than 50 years. If I were teaching that at tech, I might have, a person could lose tenure saying that there was a creation of the universe. It sounds like it's Bible. Because less than 50 years ago, the overwhelming scientific opinion was the universe is eternal. There was never never a beginning. The Bible is wrong from the very first sentence. And then we discovered suddenly Artofkickz and Robert Wilson, Bell Labs in New Jersey, the northeast of the U.S., discovered the echo of the Big Bang, the energy left over, which George Gamow 60 years ago predicted that if there had been a universe created hot and small, it would have exploded, and the energy would get more and more dilute. And Penzias and Wilson, these Arnold Penzias and Robert Wilson, discover this energy that had been predicted overnight. The Bible got it right. There was a beginning to the universe. Now, the black in the diagram is nothing. It's not a vacuum. Vacuums are within that diagram, within that cone of expansion. Vacuums are empty space, and space is something. The black of the paper around the diagram is nothing. It doesn't fit in our human brain because humans think in a box made of time, space, and matter/energy. No human, as clever as they might be, as expansive as they might be, thinks out of that box. How are we going to have this idea, is there a God or not? Notice that the creation force isn't a three-letter word, G-O-D. If you look at the words carefully, it's a quantum fluctuations. That understanding was first brought down by Ed Tryon, brilliant human being, in the journal Nature almost 40 years ago. The universe allows creation of something from nothing, provided you have the laws of nature.
He said the universe allows creation something from nothing. Well, then wouldn't that disprove the theory that God is real? Hold on, let me continue to listen.
Of something from nothing, provided you have the laws of nature, the quantum fluctuation. Tryon realized, and he published in the journal Nature, one of the two leading peer-reviewed journals in the world.
Well, hold on. He said that first you have to have the laws of nature in order to create something from nothing. All right, okay. So that means God would have had to create the law of nature first.
Journals in the world, that you can create something from absolute nothing, provided you've got the laws of nature, quantum physics and the laws of relativity. In other words, the laws of nature. So look what science has discovered. We can create the universe from absolute nothing, provided we have the forces of nature. Now, the laws of nature, the forces of nature aren't physical, they act on the physical. So if they create the universe, that means they predate the universe. So now we have a set of forces, we call them the laws of nature, that are not physical, that are able to act on the physical. They create the physical from absolute nothing. And they predate the universe, which means they predate our understanding of time. Put that together, it sounds very familiar. If you haven't noticed it, that's the biblical definition of God.
God, yeah. What? All right, atheists, come on now. There go your science. What you gonna do? What you gonna do now? Y'all still gonna say, oh, we don't believe in God? Well, your science that you do believe in proved that God exists. I don't know this guy. Who is this guy? He told you who he was in the beginning of this video. Told you all his accolades. Look him up. Look him up. Do your research. Oh, man. The atheists are big on the research, man. Do the research. They're going to be mad at me for this one. Think I care? On to the next clip.
You feel what I'm saying?
Mostly.
And
if there's a tincture that makes you younger, I better know where. You better let me in on this.
You heard that? And that's the problem right there. There's too many people in the industry, in Hollywood, that are willing to accept whatever this offering is if it is going to extend their life, if it is going to make them look younger, prettier, more attractive, or live longer. They're too quick to jump on it.
If adrenochrome's real, I'll be first in line.
She just said if adrenochrome is real, she will be the first one in line. You can't make this up, y'all. You can't make this up.
Put, some of the women put like some type of like baby's foreskin on their face.
Sure. Why do you think I'm having a kid?
The jokes write themselves. She said, "Why do you think I'm having a kid?" I thought she looked pregnant. I ain't want to say nothing, but she just gave me the okay.
You think I want to be a mother?
Wow.
You're insane. Kevin Spacey already called dibs on this. He just wired me $2 million to my PayPal.
These jokes are getting a bit strange here. She said, "You think I wanted to be a mother? Am I insane?" Come on now, not to your own kids. What? Okay, next video. I'm getting creeped out by this one.
I was at my weekly Illuminati meeting. I was sitting next to Beyonce and Jay-Z, and all of a sudden my boy Spade walked in right after Drake walked in. I was like, yo, Drake, move your little bitch ass somewhere else. I gotta talk to Spade real quick. And then we burned 2 truckloads of money and did some devil prayers. I sacrificed 4 goats, 3 chickens, and 1 sheep. And then we just, chopped it up, whatever. We was like, hey, be in this video, bitch. And then we went to catch, had some lobsters with chicken blood. I still have the t-shirt with the chicken blood on it.
I get 2 things from watching this. Either what she's saying is 100% facts, 100% true, or is 100% cap, right? It's one of the 2. There ain't no in between here. But if what she's saying is 100% real, how could she be so confident to say it without feeling like anybody would come after her? The powers that be, Beyonce, whoever, if she's saying some stuff in regards to their name, they're probably going to look at it and be like, you know what? Majority of the people have no idea what's really going on with the Illuminati, so we just gonna let her talk. What she's saying can't hurt what we got going on because we can't be touched. Illuminati can't be touched by nobody. So go ahead and let her say a few things about what we got going on. We ain't even go bother her because most won't even believe her because ain't nobody paying no attention to this silly little girl in the first place. But what if she's saying it's true?
The Darkest Conspiracy Theories, Part 2. The Bohemian Grove Club. The Bohemian Grove Club is a place located in the woods of California. It is a club filled with the world's most powerful people and the world's wealthiest. It has around 2,600 members. I'm talking politicians, actors, artists, presidents, writers. Mostly anyone with a big name that possesses a lot of power. And there's still a huge waiting list of powerful people waiting to join. Each year they meet up to discuss what's gonna happen next in the world. JP Morgan was a part of this club, Clint Eastwood, and even Ronald Reagan. It's more like a cult than a club. People like Albert Einstein and Robert Oppenheimer even discussed the Manhattan Project there, which led to the world's first atomic bomb, taking the lives of millions of people. When it goes down, they worship an ancient owl god statue, in which they give fake sacrifices to. Yeah, they make a human shape out of sticks and twigs and put it in the fire.
Hail, fellowship's eternal flame! Once again, midsummer sets us free!
My only question is, what other huge world events are being discussed and planned as we speak?
Wait, what? I ain't never heard of this. The Bohemian what?
The Illuminati doesn't control the world because nobody's that organized.
But did you ever see that Bohemian Grove thing? That is absolutely 100% real. No, it's not.
He said, so what? I know. After Joe Rogan said it's 100% real. Y'all, look, there's too many people that talk about this thing called the Illuminati for it to not be real. All these celebrities, all these people that are far more prone or far more connected than we are to even be a part of this sort of thing, they're saying it's real, y'all. I'ma believe it.
Oh, what, Brian? It's people dressing up like wizards, burning an effigy in front of an owl god. It's people at the highest levels of banks. It's all these different famous people. There's a bunch of crazy, really rich, influential people that went to that Bohemian Grove and dressed up like druids and they chanted things. Have you ever seen it?
Yes.
You are.
You haven't seen it. He hasn't seen it. He hasn't seen it. I'm sorry. He hasn't seen it.
Sets us free! You don't burn me once again!
They're chanting crazy shit and they're putting hoods on and they're burning an effigy that's supposed to be a sacrificial person, but it's straw in a bundle. They talk about the owl god Moloch. Okay, these are multimillionaires.
This right here is the reason why so many people, the average people, believe that when it comes to being rich and famous, that also brings about evil energy as well. They view rich and famous people as evil people. I can see why. If you get to a certain degree of success and stardom, there will be people coming and knocking at your door asking you to be a part of something that is clearly evil. If you don't believe the Illuminati is real, you might after this.
You know the big one that's going on right now. All these stadium shows right now are satanic rituals. And, because this is interesting, because you'd have to speak on this, that Taylor Swift is the daughter of Anton LaVey. Do you know the mother?
I don't know the mother. I don't know Anton.
Look up LaVey. Anton LaVey was basically the head of
Church of Saint.
But his chick is a pretty much a carbon copy of Taylor. Taylor Swift's like the more beautiful version of his chick. Wow. But the ritual thing is pretty fascinating. They do a conjuring ceremony. The deepest conspiracy is that the energy, if you believe in energy, which I do, the people are helping fulfill it.
I think there is something inherently spiritual about concerts.
Yes.
I think when you've got thousands upon thousands of people pouring their energy to one person, I think it is a spiritual experience.
Wow, that's something that I never really thought of, but that theory makes a whole lot of sense. That if you have all this energy from a bunch of people and they're pouring it into one person, i.e. the artist on stage, that it is doing something to them. It's giving them something. We also know that these artists make the bulk of their money going on tour. When they go on tour, they make a buttload. We talking millions and millions of dollars. And at the same time, they're getting this energy from the crowd, from the audience, that is almost euphoric. Not almost, most certainly is euphoric. I have experienced it myself. I've been invited to be on stage and sold out crowds with many of artists. But if you're feeding a certain type of music, if it's something devilish or demonic, the energy that you receive back, what does that do for you? I wonder.
Adrenochrome was dying to say it when you were telling us about your family's involvement in children's adrenal glands. Is that, at least in part, what you were talking about? Adrenochrome?
I believe that is one of the compounds that they are seeking. Is one of those. When you have norepinephrine and epinephrine, and then you have adrenochrome. These are different compounds of what happens when the body produces adrenaline and how that chain reaction takes place. I don't know the specifics of the names of the compounds that they were after. I know that some of those products had a silvery sheen to them. One of those plasmids that they would put, some of them were literally kept in gold vials, silver vials, and copper vials, and then others were in glass vials. Those were the main product line. Like when I was being used as a mule to traffic those specific compounds, those vials around in central Arizona, in the White Mountains, specifically to a lot of individuals in the Mormon church. The Mormon church was utilizing those compounds during their rituals. They're very much interconnected with the same cult ideologies and rituals of the Freemasons. They were utilizing a lot of those in those rituals, and I was being used as a mule to bring those up from Lake Havasu City, Arizona, where the London Bridge and these Knights of Columbus were operating out of, where they had a factory to produce these things that came up from Nogales and up into Tucson, Arizona, into Phoenix, and this human trafficking chain that went up all the way over into Lake Havasu. It was ultimately the main distribution hub for this was from that sovereign territory for the city of London that is right there at the London Bridge. That is a legal territory that the city of London has like an embassy here in the United States. That is where these activities take place. That is the central hub of the main distribution network for those very products, those human-based products that were being distributed out from there to Las Vegas, to Los Angeles, San Diego, San Francisco. That was the hub of it, and I still believe Epstein Island is a form of the Pleasure Island. The previous generation of what I witnessed was all centered there in Lake Havasu.
I want to believe that there's some validity to his story, because who would make up a story like this? This sounds so far-fetched, so outrageous that it almost has to be real, right? But for those of you that don't know what adrenochrome is, it is this compound or this chemical basically that's found within the brain, right? That is almost like activated when someone is experiencing fear. And it's said that Illuminati or whomever, whatever powers that be, they extract that adrenochrome from children, but only after they have heightened their sense of fear. And then they use it almost as if it's some sort of remedy for immortality or something. There's a whole lot to this that I don't know about, so please don't quote me. Go do the research for yourself.
Say that, like, do you think there's a level of fame that is just too dangerous for this?
Yeah, so yeah, if you don't drink the Kool-Aid, you don't drink the gold juice. So I was offered the gold juice 3 times in my 20s, my 30s, and
What's
my 40s.
that? Pee? A lot of golden showers in
The
Burbank.
gold juice that I will live forever and I'll have whatever I want. The gold juice. You never offered the gold juice?
No, I'm a scumbag comic. What's the gold juice?
I don't know, but I didn't drink it and I didn't want it. And
is this
I noticed when all the girls, certain girls on Orange, changed. Yeah, it's a real thing. It's like a real thing.
You heard that? She was about to hit at something. She said, I noticed when all the girls on Orange changed. She talking about Orange is the New Black. Y'all remember that TV show? It's a really good show. She was on there. She said she was offered the gold juice at the age of 20 or in her 20s, in her 30s, and in her 40s. But she didn't take it. She said it was the elixir of immortality.
Like, it's all a real thing. And it's scary because they send, like, people after you and they can, like, kind of moonlight as, like, a friend or, you know, and they're wolf in sheep's clothing.
Oh, it's the, ooh, wee, that's crazy. So she said, man, that's something to think about. See, I'm glad that I'm having these extended conversations with you guys because as I question stuff, more information is coming to me with each one of these passing videos. Remember, I stated that they will send groups of people after you. She said that they have wolves in sheep's clothing. They will be presented to you as your friend and they will try to bring you in. Wow.
Listen, you can have everything you want, all the fame in the world, all the money. I'm like, what if I just drank it? But then you know what I mean? Like, what if I, and I don't know what it is. If it's a metaphor for the gold juice, like, you feel what I'm saying?
Mostly.
And
if there's a tincture that makes you younger, I better know where. You better let me in on this.
You heard that? And that's the problem right there. There's too many people in the industry, in Hollywood, that are willing to accept whatever this offering is if it is going to extend their life, if it is going to make them look younger, prettier, more attractive, or live longer. They're too quick to jump on it.
If adrenochrome's real, I'll be first in line.
She just said if adrenochrome is real, she will be the first one in line. You can't make this up, y'all. You can't make this up.
But, you know, some of the women put like some type of like baby's foreskin on their face.
Sure. Why do you think I'm having a kid?
The jokes write themselves. She said, why do you think I'm having a kid? I thought she looked pregnant. I ain't want to say nothing, but she just gave me the okay.
You think I want to be a mother?
Wow.
You're insane. Kevin Spacey already called dibs on this. He did. He just wired me $2 million to my PayPal.
These jokes are getting a bit strange here. She said, you think I wanted to be a mother? Am I insane? Come on now. Not to your own kids. What? Okay, next video. I'm getting creeped out by this one.
I was at my weekly Illuminati meeting. I was sitting next to Beyonce and Jay-Z, and all of a sudden my boy Spade walked in right after Drake walked in. I was like, yo, Drake, move your little bitch ass somewhere else. I gotta talk to Spade real quick. And then we burned 2 truckloads of money and did some devil prayers. I sacrificed 4 goats, 3 chickens, and 1 sheep. And then we just, chopped it up, whatever. We was like, hey, be in this video, bitch. And then we went to catch, had some lobsters with chicken blood. I still have the t-shirt with the chicken blood on it.
I get 2 things from watching this. Either what she's saying is 100% facts, 100% true, or is 100% cap, right? It's one of the two. There ain't no in between here. But if what she's saying is 100% real, how could she be so confident to say it without feeling like anybody would come after her? The powers that be, Beyonce, whoever, if she's saying some stuff in regards to their name, they're probably going to look at it and be like, you know what? Majority of the people have no idea what's really going on with the Illuminati, so we just gonna let her talk. What she's saying can't hurt what we got going on because we can't be touched. Illuminati can't be touched by nobody. So go ahead and let her say a few things about what we got going on. We ain't even go bother her because most won't even believe her because ain't nobody paying no attention to this silly little girl in the first place. But what if she's saying it's true? These TikTok conspiracy theories about celebrities may have you looking at them in a different light. Just watch.
This former child star exposes the truth about Disney and Hollywood.
dark world we're in, I've noticed a pattern in what is being represented. People think that this stuff is just a game. There is a reason why you see people dressed up as Satan, not just, you know, like Satan slipping himself in a little bit. No, full on visuals of Satan, people dressed as Satan, you know, dressed as a demon, got upside down crosses all on their clothes or pentagrams on their clothes. And people are just like, oh, that's funny. It's, you know, we're making fun. No, there's a reason why the entertainment industry is doing that, y'all. They know good and doggone well that God exists. They also know that Satan exists. They're just counting on the fact that y'all don't know that. But either way, the things that you take in, that they're feeding you, those things affect you. Whether you realize it in the moment or not, they affect you. That's why they do it. Entertainment industry, it's about influence. I'm not going to sacrifice the honesty in order to be politically.
She said, I'm not going to sacrifice the honesty to be politically correct. Y'all, she's in the industry. I've been watching her since she was a little girl. She know what she's talking about, best believe. Woo, if this is where we are starting, man, this video is about to be a good one. By the way, this video is for entertainment purposes only. We're here to be entertained. Take this information with a grain of salt.
These conspiracy theories will ruin your childhood. This first theory is about the movie Frozen and how some people believe it was created as a cover-up for how Walt Disney was cryogenically frozen and plans to be brought back to life.
Because I've been knowing about that forever and a day, and I always wondered, I'm like, when they gonna bring Walt Disney back?
Because now if you search up the words Frozen and Disney, you'll only see results from the movie.
Yo, I picked that up so quick. Before, when you typed in Disney Frozen, it was conspiracy theories around Walt Disney being frozen to be brought back later on in the future. But now, when you typed in Disney Frozen, you get nothing but the Disney Frozen movie. Makes perfect sense. Ha! It's a cover-up. I like this is a good theory already.
Before the movie existed, you could find more information about how Walt Disney cryogenically froze himself. It's even rumored that Walt Disney's body is hidden somewhere in Disney World. But believe it or not, this next theory is even crazier. And it's how Tom and Jerry is actually World War II.
I thought she was about to say like, comment, subscribe for the next crazy theory. But okay, Tom and Jerry are not shit.
Propaganda. So first of all, we have to point out that the nickname for British soldiers during World War II were Tommies. And the nickname for German soldiers were Jerrys.
Really?
And in almost every episode of Tom and Jerry, Tom tries to unalive Jerry. But Jerry outsmarts him. Which, going by the Tommies and Jerrys association, could be a message about German intelligence. But if you still don't believe me...
No, what? Come on now. If what she's saying is true, that can't be a coincidence. That cannot be a coincidence. That's crazy. Because ain't no way you gonna have a cat and mouse named Tom and Jerry always trying to come at each other's throats and this also be true too in regards to the nutshell.
Tom and Jerry came out in 1940, the same year as the Battle of Britain. Let me know if you believe these theories and follow for more.
I believe it. I believe it. It's too good to not be true.
Lil Nas X is one of the most satanic celebrities out there, and he doesn't even try to hide it. In this music video, it literally starts off as him getting seduced in the Garden of Eden, then him falling down from a pole all the way from heaven to hell just to come down, see Satan, and then twerk on his lap. I don't care what you believe in, but this is sick. He also released 666 pairs of Satan shoes that apparently had blood in them.
Which I think Nike was suing him for, because those were clearly Air Max shoes.
Now listen to what he says in this video.
We usually go to meetings on Wednesday in black cloaks. Draw like a big star in a circle on the ground. We have like these cups of blood, drink it pretty much, and we kind of like plan like world domination, like to make everyone gay.
Is the Illuminati real?
Yes.
Are there any other secret societies other than the Illuminati that maybe don't get as much press?
Yeah, but they're evil and I don't fuck with them.
Okay, so the Illuminati's not evil. They don't do, like, blood sacrifices.
See, the problem is when there's people in control of anything, they get greedy, egos, so they ruin things and they make it evil.
Mm-hmm. Care to elaborate?
No.
Okay, fair enough.
He was quick to say no. Who is this? James Stark? No. Jeffree Star. You saw how quick he was to say no. It's not very often that he's not willing to elaborate on some stuff. You know, he like to run his mouth.
And is the Illuminati like celebrity based, or are there politicians also involved with that? It's just money based.
And then the celebrities are used as a vessel.
Okay, what he's saying sounds way too specific. Way too specific. He's not talking as if he's making assumptions. He's talking as if it's a matter of fact. Like he knows. Like he's involved in some sort of way, some form or fashion. Come on, listen.
Okay. Yeah. All right. How much money? How much money does someone have to make to be in?
Or what you're willing to do to not be broke anymore.
Come on now. Buddy asks, how much money does someone have to make in order to be in the Illuminati? Jeffree Star says, or what are you willing to do to not be broke anymore? Come on now. In my head, when he asked that question, I'm over here thinking, I'm like, yeah, you probably got to at least make $1 million or on your way or projected to make a certain type of money. No, what are you willing to do to not be broke no more? That makes perfect sense. What do we know of the Illuminati? It seems like they be trying to control people to do some things that they wouldn't otherwise want to do for fame and success.
What does that mean?
Dun, dun.
Yeah. You speak in riddles. Like, you give me just enough where I'm like, I don't know.
You have to, so I don't get my plane bombed or killed later, you know?
It's your fear for your life.
Jeffree Star is fearful of his life because of some things that he may be willing not to say. What does this tell you? Making assumptions about the Illuminati, he wouldn't be fearful of saying anything, right? I don't have any ties to the Illuminati, so I can say whatever I want. Even though it don't mean that they won't come after me, but still, I can say what I want.
Let me just think about like this or not. He's not gonna come up here and beat up Schultz by default. Like,
no, I'm not worried about getting beat up. I'm more worried about a shooting happening. You know?
I feel like the gun consequences in New York are pretty serious. They are pretty serious. Yeah, it's fairly severe.
I just had to slice them.
What the fuck was that? Why are you slicing it, bro?
Open, bro.
Was it Illuminati? Was he
Once he starts throwing up the rock, I had to slice it open.
You hate the Illuminati.
Dude, because sound of freedom, bro. Sound of freedom, dude. Do you know what I mean? Sound of freedom, bro. There's sex trafficking all over the world, bro.
I've met several Masons in my life. Illuminati's real.
Didn't check in, so you making sure you check him right
now. No, he checked in.
Oh, you did?
He told me. You're like, wait a minute, I can't laugh.
I can laugh.
Really?
Yeah, I can laugh.
Do the both of you laugh at one?
Yeah.
You fucked a guy. You fucked a guy?
I thought I made a joke about it. No.
Did you go legs up or did you deliver?
Bro, Andrew, bro.
Yo, stop that, bro. Come on.
That was what his asshole looked like.
Give us the before.
If the Illuminati's watching this, hit me up, because I have been waiting for the person in the hood to come. I swear to God, I've been waiting for the high society to be like, you're one of us.
Don't they come get you in the middle of the night and take you to like a camp or something?
And then I think they pull your pants down and hit you with a stick in the butt.
Is that confirmed?
That's what I heard.
Sound like Logan Paul wanted to be a part of the Illuminati. Like, seriously, want to be a part of the Illuminati. We know him and his brother want all the fame and success. And the stuff that they were doing in their videos, they got them into so much trouble, both of them. Come on now. No brainer to me. If the Illuminati came knocking on their door, hey, we want you to be, oh yes, where do we sign? Do we have to drink some blood? Give me the cup right now, I'll take it. The Paul brothers, come on now. And then if you go back and listen, pay attention to what they were saying here. When Andrew Schultz asked him about him checking in, and then he said, yeah, Logan did check in. It sounded like he was talking about the Illuminati. Let me find that part again.
No, he checked in.
Oh, you did?
He told me. You're like, wait a minute, I can't laugh.
I can laugh.
Really?
Yeah, I can laugh.
Do the both of you laugh at one?
Yeah.
You fucked a guy. You fucked a guy?
I thought I made a joke about it.
No. See, now they're talking about what he did to be initiated, right? Talking about and now Logan is like, I thought I made a joke about it. Not to say that he didn't do whatever it is that they're talking about that sounds whoa. But the fact that he made a joke about something that he did or might have done.
Did you go legs up or did you deliver?
Whoa, Andrew, bro.
Yo, stop that, bro. Come on.
That was what his asshole looked like.
Give us the the...
You see how he keep on making it, now he done put it over his eye? Man, I wouldn't be surprised. I wouldn't be surprised.
Is that a gang sign? Have you,
Oh, like you don't know what it is. You don't know what that is.
I have no idea.
I'm sick and tired of the secrets and the lies. It is the secret symbol of the Illuminati, and you're a part of it. People on television, people in sitcoms have been hired by the government to throw you off the track, to distract you, to make you laugh and stuff like that, make you happy and docile so you don't know what's really going on. You get out there in the woods in a circle naked and they decide these things. You know, look at him trying to come out. It's hilarious, hilarious. Hold on a second. You know what they're trying to do? Ooh, this thing is buzzing. Hold on. They're trying to turn us into consumer drones of some sort.
He said they're trying to turn us into consumer drones of some sort. I believe Jim Carrey over Andrew.
You just gotta get this. Yeah, listen, I'm in the middle of blowing the lid off some money. I think what I was really trying to say is I think people will enjoy Dumb and Dumber this weekend.
Y'all remember that clip? That's an old clip, but it's a classic one. And I love showing it to people. Because when they see Jim Carrey talk about it, oh, they believe. I'm seeing the Illuminati, the Freemason symbols in the back. Is this real? I need somebody to verify down in the comment section. Have you seen this clip from a TV show or a movie or something? Or is this real? I've never seen this footage before. It's a meeting. It's a meeting of the globals, of the elites. All right, now I have to ask the question. Comment down below if you were approached by the Illuminati and they ask you to join and they promise you and your family, or just you, that you would have all the things that you wanted in life. Rather it was youth, health, immortality, wealth. Would you sign up? Would you do whatever it is that they ask of you so that you can be a part of their elite membership, their elite club? Comment down below. Be truthful. Be honest. Yes or no?
Simpsons don't predict the future. They control it. Did you know that Matt Groening, the creator of The Simpsons, could be a member of the Freemasons? Freemasons are a secret society that has been the subject of many conspiracy theories over time. Many believe that this group has the power to influence the world and everything that happens in it. To start with, many characters in The Simpsons have names that are linked to Freemasonry. For example, the character of Homer is named after the ancient Greek poet Homer, who wrote about the Trojan War. In Freemasonry, the Trojan War is a symbol of the struggle between good and evil. Furthermore, there are several references to Freemasonry in various episodes of The Simpsons. For instance, in one episode, Homer becomes a member of a secret society called the Stonecutters, which is clearly a parody of Freemasons. Finally, Groening himself has admitted that he is fascinated by secret societies and conspiracy theories. In an interview with Playboy magazine, he stated that he was inspired by the book Illuminati Trilogy, which explores the idea of a secret society controlling the world. Perhaps the Simpsons don't actually predict anything. Maybe their influence is simply so powerful that they are capable of controlling what happens.
What? That's a great theory. I love that. I never even considered that. Is the creator of The Simpsons really a Mason? And if he is, then it wouldn't be too far-fetched to believe that, yeah, some of the things that he has put in his cartoon came to fruition because that's the way that they're designing it. Like, everything that they're doing is intentional. Like, they can create the future. This is crazy. This is a wild theory. But anyway, leave your thoughts, comments, and opinions down below. And I'm going to catch y'all in the next one. See ya. These TikTok theories about the Illuminati may have you believing in the existence of that not-so-secret organization. Just watch.
Remember when I explained to you, like, it's our job? Like, you know how we bring up And people say like I'm a like devil worshiper or anything.
See how instantly uncomfortable everybody in the room became when he said that?
But how's the music? Cause it'll be I'd be like, Uzi, get with God. And then I'll drop a song and like, damn. And it's just like why y'all even bringing up religion? Religion is just like, why are you bringing, like, we don't, like what they say, don't bring up religion, a woman's age or
Yeah,
like,
no,
why you even bringing like I don't like.
Lil Uzi Vert, the man that put the diamond in the middle of his forehead that symbolized what? The third eye? See, the industry will use people like this to try to keep people as far away from the belief and existence of God as possible. What did he just say? Oh man, why you bring your religion into it? When they simply ask him to turn to God, to look to God for guidance.
If we get paid to rap about that stuff, they actually pay us more when we rap about more ignorant stuff, so I make sure I even align and come talk on stages like this. But you guys...
You heard what he just said. Meek Mill just told you. He says they pay us to rap about stuff like that. They pay us more to rap about ignorant stuff, to keep us dumb. Don't fall for it.
Okay, this is either really cool or a little strange, but that's who you're doing business with, right? So...
What is this?
That is Marilyn's hair.
Did you hear what the man said? He was like, this might look a little weird, but this is the type of people who you are doing business with. Now, I might be taking that out of context, but that's a piece of Marilyn Monroe's hair. And look how excited Kim is.
So.
You can clone her.
That's awesome.
Oh my god, I'm literally going to do some crazy voodoo shit that I like.
Wait, what did she just say? How is that the first thought that come to your mind unless you're part of the... Kim Kardashian just hugged a bunch of people and said, I'm literally gonna do some crazy voodoo shit. Y'all, it's right here in plain sight. They don't even hide it no more. We're gonna hear that again.
That's awesome.
Oh my god, I'm literally going to do some crazy voodoo shit that I like. And I channel her. This is so special to me. Thank you so much. This is so cool. So cool.
Good vibes.
Wow. This is sleeping with me every night.
What? Yo, Hollywood is weird, man. I swear. Some nasty old hair out of somebody's head, and you're that excited about it? Uh-oh. What's about to happen to Kim Kardashian? She's about to do some weird stuff. She just admitted it.
Don't know what the Illuminati is? You're either Republican or you're Democrat. You're wrong! Why? It's this easy. It's called divide and conquer. That's why there's two parties and only two. And they're controlled by the same people at the very top who belong to the Council on Foreign Relations, the Bilderberger Group. They also belong to the Trilateral Commission, and you people don't even know what the hell that is. But if you did know, you would know that these are the people that control your world by making global policies that you never vote on, and by which parties both serve and belong to these organizations and control your world. Now, here's how it works.
Bro, this man might look crazy, but he ain't sounding crazy. he sounded like he know what he's talking about. For one, he talks better than I do. He looked like he's strung out on drugs, homeless, out here tripping, yapping about a bunch of nothing. But no, he ain't yapping about nothing. He talking about something. And he looked like he know exactly what he's talking about too. He look like an intelligent hobo.
Here's how it works. Really easy. Divide and conquer can only work if the people that are divided are not aware of the falsely created division. If you're not aware...
He said, the people that are divided, it works if they're not aware of the falsely created division. Oh, snap. This man is preaching.
Falsely created division. If you're not aware of it, then it works. If you know about it, then it don't work no more. If you have socialism, without capitalism, it becomes communism. If you have capitalism without socialism, it becomes fascism. And it's just that easy.
I love you.
That's all you need to know. That's why Masonic symbols are all over your freaking money. But you don't pay any attention.
Pay attention! Pay attention! Welcome to the channel where we pay attention. If you haven't hit that subscribe button yet, make sure you do so. Let's proceed.
We get a lot of questions sometimes, like when people buy our meat, they're like, well, I opened it up and it's not red. Why isn't it red? And the reason is because the only way to keep it red is they pump gases into the packaging that artificially create a red color. So the meat naturally is never that red. When you cut it and it's first exposed to oxygen momentarily, it will bloom, it's called, it'll redden up just a little bit, and then it'll instantly start to brown out unless you pump gases into the packaging for about 10 minutes and artificially create this like red pinkish color. So we get that question a lot.
What? If that's true, then they've been doing this since who knows how long, my entire life, and I'm 36 years old. What kind of gases are they pumping into the freaking meat packages to keep them red?
It's like, they're like, your meat's not fresh because it's brown. It's like, well, actually, it's way fresher. Our meat is brown because 5 minutes later, it turns to that brown color, and then we flash freeze it. So you're like eating meat that's like metabolic, 5 minutes old, versus that red, fresh meat in the grocery store might be a month old, and it's sat like that, but they're using artificial gases in that packaging to create a color that's completely unnatural.
Oh, yo, I never even thought of that. I used to work as a chef where I used to have to cut up meat in a restaurant. And I didn't even think about that. The meat would definitely brown at a faster rate. And I was just thinking because it was out of the package. But no, clearly that wasn't the reason. There was gases in that pack too. I feel like I was poisoning everyone now, including myself, because I was eating it.
Well, no, if that's... Is there anything on a package that someone...
Oh no, they don't have to declare it. If your packaged meat looks bright red, then it is filled with artificial gases to create that. Meat doesn't look like that.
That goes to show you, even the stuff that's supposed to be organic or grass fed, all that stuff look red too. The meat don't look like that, y'all. Hey, support your local butchers. You know what I'm saying?
But like no one knows that.
Looks bright red and juicy, but this piece of meat is not safe to eat. Believe it or not, it's been sitting out for 11 days. So how could it still look so fresh? It's because it's being packed and gassed in a special process that most people never heard about, using carbon monoxide, carbon dioxide, and nitrogen.
Carbon monoxide? That is poison, literally poison.
Which keeps the meat looking fresh and bright red. We left 2 cuts of lamb out at room temperature. One was gas packed, the other no gas. After a few days, the untreated meat turns a dark, unappealing color. But the gas packed meat stays red, even after being left out for 8 days. The only visible sign of spoilage is the package puffing out and a bad odor when opened. We had the meat analyzed in a lab, and it's no surprise that both cuts are loaded with bacteria. The color of the meat doesn't necessarily indicate it's fresh.
The color of the meat doesn't necessarily indicate that it's fresh. Both meats were loaded with bacteria. Ugh. I'm not fully vegan yet, but shit, every day I get this much closer to being, boy. Whew. Here go another one of those videos that was removed from the internet.
One of the first videos to be incredibly censored, I brought my 12-year-old son into my studio on live television, and we bought a CO2 monitor. And I put that CO2 monitor up underneath his mask, and I had him wear all the different masks that we use, whether it was a surgical mask or an N95, or we even tested a shield and a bandana. But what we saw was incredibly alarming. So now we're in a place where he can be having headaches. He can be, we're at 3,786. Look at this, we're just past 5,000. Now we're in the toxic level. Right now we could be doing just 7,000 inside this mask of the CO2, 8,000 parts per million.
Yeah, that's because you're exhaling like carbon monoxide. Every time you exhale, and this is something I thought about when we was first told that we needed to wear these masks. I'm like, well, that's not healthy. That's not safe, because the toxins and fumes that we exhale, we're gonna be inhaling those things right back in. See, the numbers keep rising on this every single time he exhales. I knew I was right. Big brain.
And now this thing's gone off the Richter scale, folks. It can't even register how high the CO2 levels are inside. And look how many seconds that was. All right.
Can I just...
Yeah, you want to take that off?
That boy lightheaded now. Tell you, the government don't want y'all to see this stuff. Now, this clip here, I want y'all to keep in mind, there's people that say, hey, what he's saying versus the audio that we're hearing doesn't match up. His lips doesn't match the words. They do match the words. It's just delayed. Just got to pay attention.
Co-chair of the entertainment division at Disney, and we have a special announcement to make today. As you know, Disney's a place of magic. It's where frogs turn into princes, where orphans like Cinderella can transform into beautiful princess. And unlike us jaded adults, the children believe in magic. And we spent 100 years cultivating a brand that has been trusted and loved by families for generations. And with that trust, we've covertly been inserting queerness into our films and television shows. First as LGBTQ background characters, and later in leading roles and plot points. And few parents know that.
Fascinating. It's fascinating. They think they slick. They think they slick. Yeah, we're gonna put the LGBT characters, we're gonna put them in the background, and then slowly we're gonna start giving them lead roles. What's the agenda here? What's the agenda?
2 years ago now, for Pride Month, on Disney Plus, our streaming service, we streamed the Disney Plus Drag Queen Extravaganza to help introduce queer ideologies and sexualities to children and encourage them to experiment on their own.
See, what? They introduced these queer ideologies to children through Disney? He's spilling the beans. Ooh, man, this is wild.
And we're proud of our perfect DEI score, our diversity, equity, and inclusion score, but we always strive to go above and beyond what is expected. And so we're proud to announce that this summer we're going to be opening Disney-themed pediatric transgender clinics for the children across the country. As you know, there's still a tremendous stigma against parents deciding to change the gender of their children, especially for those raising their children as gender non-binary, using they, them pronouns. And
this is a different Disney than the Disney that I grew up on.
So we're confident that with our Disney brand puberty blockers and our character-themed clinics that we can help reduce this stigma, and we can normalize these ideas, and we can make them mainstream.
All right. Well, as you just heard, Disney been on some for those who don't know, I posted a video with just this this clip from this city council meeting with Mark Dice, and he's basically just, you know, fronting as a you know, trolling, whatever you want to call it, as a person from Disney. But you know, they all know this. You know, they know who this guy is. He's been in there a million times. Now
oh, so he doesn't work for Disney. Okay, he's trolling.
Everything he just said is factual. This is.
Oh, so he doesn't work for Disney. He's just speaking as if he does. But still, what he's saying isn't far-fetched. It's we can clearly see that this is something that they're doing, right?
In times. Now, everything he just said is factual. This is the he's been up to.
Yeah.
And if you don't believe me, let me save you the Google, and I already did it for you.
What you about to show us? What you about to show us?
I Googled Disney Drag Queen Show. Look what comes up. Disney Plus, streaming for everyone. Where did I just see? There we go. TV Nina West on touring drag queens into Disney princesses for her Disney Plus musical. These are grown men as drag queens on a Disney show.
Why does the Disney Channel need that? The Disney Channel don't need that. Agenda. I was just about to ask, why would these grown drag expression men, drag queen men, want to have any involvement with the Disney Channel or, you know, a kids show or a kids network, I meant to say. Why would they want any involvement? Agenda.
Like, Disney airs drag queen special for kids, doubling down on their Marxist agenda. Like, this is not a secret. And for those of you who didn't know, well, you know now. Now let's Google.
If you look at the date on that, it's just like the dude said. He's like, for the past 2 years. This was 2022.
The next part. Disney Transgender Surgery Center. I didn't even know what to look for to find that, so I just typed in what made sense to me. And look what pops right up. Disney helps employees and children transition with gender. As reporter, a Disney official said, during a virtual conference for the company's Reimagine Tomorrow initiative, that the company will be working to assist employees, and I'm sure if I clicked on that, it would finish the sentence and say assist them and their children with transitioning into gender. Next category, Disney helps employees transition and transgender children, not even just the people that work there, grown folk, we talking about their kids. Disney covers gender affirmation procedure for both adults and adolescents through its health insurance company. So their health insurance will even help the people who work there's kids partake in this stuff.
Wait, I'm sorry, but excuse me? So they can use health insurance to completely alter their sex, but I can't use health insurance to get sleep apnea treatment? What the what? My issue is real too. This is crazy.
Next thing I Googled, Disney transgender characters. Disney series introduces first non-binary character. We ain't even talking about the drag show no more. I mean, this is non-binary characters and transgender and queer. Like, look, it says it right there. As non-binary, transgender, and queer. We just touching all, all categories all the way around. As you can see, the LGBTQ whatever plus, what the hell does that mean? What? Hang on. 20 times Disney featured LGBTQ plus characters in movies and TV shows. 20 times. And now I'm sure that's just a list of them. Like, come on, people, wake up. If you don't think they're coming after your kids, you ain't paying no attention, man.
All right, this says, how many people actually have a soul? Or are you familiar with synthetics? Interesting. Let's check this out.
For instance, down there in the Haunted Mansion, you see the hologram, right? Oh, you know how to make a hologram. Well, our scientists have learned how to make people. They call them synthetics. Are you familiar with those?
Well, actually, we just interviewed John Lear, and he was talking about being in an audience in which they were given a lecture by a guy that they thought was real and found out later he was a hologram.
Well, it's a synthetic. A synthetics, when you touch their skin, it feels like plastic almost. That's the latest technique. The old techniques, if you guys can rent a video, the boys from Brazil, rent it, because in it, it gives you the exact way how our government's been making people.
Really?
Yeah,
well,
and the Soviets have a different method called...
I mean, making people meaning temporary people?
No, walking, talking ones.
Meaning through genetics? You're not talking about that?
Well, let me tell you. The movie shows it, but I'll share it with you right now.
All right.
All I need to do is take 2 cells off of your body, yours.
Uh-huh.
We give them a small electrical charge. I'm just no, act like a fertilized egg. If I got a fertilized egg, all I need is a receiver in order to make it. So they were hypnotizing women, said they were being invaded by aliens, and the fetus starts growing, right? Needs food.
Nah, we just can't just get past that like that. You heard what he said? He said they were hypnotizing women, making them believe that they were abducted by aliens, so that they can extract their DNA, maybe their egg, and create humans, synthetic humans using it. This is crazy.
They can use cows and sheep, too. They were being invaded by aliens, and the fetus starts growing, right? Needs food, where they can in order to make it. So they were hypnotizing women, said they were being invaded by aliens, and the fetus starts growing, right? Needs food, where they can use cows and sheep, too. Again, a food source, that's all we need. After about 14 weeks, all of a sudden that fetus is gone. Because they've learned to take, that's when the fetus starts developing its own blood supply. Then they've used a pituitary hormone extract that they have, which accelerates the being that grows. And the original technology was given to our government by the Greys. Now, the reason...
Wait a minute, hold on. Yo, this is crazy. He said the original technology was given to our government. Y'all gotta excuse me, I'm adjusting this pillow behind my back. By the Greys. The Greys, the gray aliens, y'all. That would make the most sense, right? Just like I told y'all before in the previous video, how a lot of the technology that we're using today came from these spacecrafts, came from these extraterrestrials, like the cell phone, these devices right here. The reason why we're capable or able to touch the screen, this was foreign over a decade ago. We had buttons that we had to press. Look, somebody over here calling me now. I don't even know who this is. Just like this, I was told that the ability to touch on the screen of the phone came from an alien spacecraft that crashed in, you know, Area 51. Oh man, this
was that our scientists were all excited because we could have spare parts. If you need a heart or a liver or anything, you won't have any rejection. It's your own DNA, right?
Okay, because theoretically, if we have overpopulation, we don't need more people, right?
But the so-called elite are selecting on who they want to have around anyway. So if we want to keep people going as long as we can, I talked to the doctor that was working on regeneration of Castro, for instance,
right,
on the DNA sequencing, and they're just learning about this.
Well,
the government is deciding who they want to keep around, which is why, in my beliefs, that they're poisoning our food supplies. And if you're important enough, you get certain treatments so that the food supply doesn't affect you. It's like a vaccine of some sort. That's why I'm hot telling about America, man. They don't care about us.
My understanding is that a lot of presidents have already been replaced.
That's right.
Yeah,
I don't think
they're walking around. They look old, but they basically some of the people are just second, third copies.
I'll give you something to ponder. Get some old videos of George Bush, when he first came into office. Look at the person and listen to him speak. Look at his actions and listen to everything that's there. Now,
bro, we already seeing that with the current president. Everybody knows that this is not the same man. It's not the same man. His hair is different. His ears are different. This is not the same man. They replaced him with some older dude.
It's a lot easier to put somebody out in front to act as a, you know, even Bush did. He had somebody else that was up there acting like he is and look like it. Even Hitler had he had his stand. In fact, his stand-in was the one that they found in the ground over in Germany. I mean, Hitler and Eva and the dog and 14 other people got aboard a plane and flew down to Barcelona, Spain. You were aware of that. And then ended up in Antarctica or in Swabenland and then died a few years ago in Brazil.
That's what we heard. That's
I have all the documents from our own government.
Oh, you do? Okay.
Yeah.
She's like, oh, that's alleged. That's what we heard. He's like, no, sweetheart. No. I have the documents from our own government. That's what happened. I'm telling you. I'm not alleging nothing. This is what happened.
Yeah, we have a contact.
Stalin even, Stalin asked for they tried to burn the body and he got the body back. And so we had different ears and the testicles were different and everything else. So they knew it wasn't Hitler.
But is it a clone or not?
Oh, now you know I'm going about cloning. Cloning techniques, since 1938, they've been making clone people. There's 8 countries making clones.
I knew it. I knew it. This cloning stuff ain't new. They've been cloning for a while. Since 1938, they've been able to clone folks. I've been felt that some people were cloned.
I have a doctor friend that all he does is treat the clones.
Where do you get your information?
I get it from some of the people that are willing to come forth, and they talk to me because they hope I'll put the information out because they always got 2 people following them and they may be killed. If I start talking about cloning too much, the people that get involved into that you disappear on it. So I don't go into too many more details. But there is information that's available, and more and more of that's coming online. I just told you, go rent the movie.
Okay, Boys from Brazil.
Yeah, and you'll see the whole technique on what they show it to you in different places, so you can imagine what it's going on.
That's amazing. Yo, whatever. This is synthetic meat tissue that's being printed out right now. It's crazy. They're using 3D printers to make people.
Okay, so...
No, let's go to the next step, because this is the most important part.
All right.
If your physical reality that you have, based on this physical life that you have, this dream, is made up of the experiences that is impregnated on your body and in your mind, consciously, right? Your soul memory is another thing. It goes back whatever time that you elected to be in this incarnation for whatever reason. Now let's show...
Oh, yes, I love that he says that. He says your soul memory just acts different. It goes back to when you elected for whatever reason to be reincarnated into the current being that you're in. I strongly believe that. I'm trusting this man's word right now, because he's saying stuff that aligns with what I believe in, and he's done it multiple times throughout this video. Now, one thing that's interesting that he said, which makes perfect sense, it's kind of like what we saw from the whistleblowers that were talking about the UFOs in Congress recently, is that certain people are coming forward to him relinquishing information that they themselves can't speak forward about. They themselves can't speak up about, because it could mean their life. So they share it to him, and then he shares it to the world. That makes sense. That's not how he's getting his information. And then obviously there's stuff that is being presented to him through physical documents as well. Man.
For whatever reason. Now let's show you the division on these things. Since the body is very physical, and we just got you making a physical being in a few months for spare parts.
Okay, hold on. He's about to say something. I'm sorry I had to stop it, but I feel like he's about to cook. He said the body is physical, and we just spent a few months making a physical being. Now, what is he going to say in regards to the soul that's going to be inhabiting this being? Let's hear it.
Physical, and we just got you making a physical being in a few months for spare parts. They said, now we've got the perfect deal. How can we have that work better? Well, if you go to the hospital today and get an encephalogram, what's that? That's the memory of your conscious mind.
To get what? What did he just say? If you go to the hospital and get what?
To the hospital today and get an encephalogram, what's that?
What is that? I don't know what he said. Please, somebody, if you understood what he just said, comment down below, because I have no idea what that is.
It's the memory of your conscious mind. It's on the CD. Let's download it on this being. Now we got a walking, talking duplicate that has the total memory that you have.
Oh no, my whole memory? Bruh. This is scary. If they want to duplicate you, create another version of you, then get rid of you, oh, it's easy. Jamie Foxx, for instance, he had a tattoo on his head. Tell me why the tattoo gone now. I think they might have cloned Jamie Foxx and got rid of the real one, because this one they can control. Boy.
Because we just took it off of your own mind.
Okay, it's like Blade Runner, the android.
Exactly. The only thing is that it's like this DVD recorder. Sometimes you have glitches in it, so you have to have them tuned up occasionally or redone. And so we take them to Camp David, or there's a wing at Bethesda Hospital to just tell you. If you go down there and check, you'll find the nurses, if they're willing to come forth, they'll tell you they work on those people, and they call them the others. I thought...
The others. Oh. Just had to pause for a second. I'm over here thinking, I want to meet these nurses. I want to see these others. I need to see this stuff. Like, I'm for real. Like, where did he say? I'm gonna go back a little bit, because did he just say where they were? I will book a flight tomorrow.
Bethesda Hospital to just tell you. If you go down there and check, you'll find...
Wait, did he just say in Czech? Like in Czech Republic?
Hospital to just tell you. If you go down there and check, you'll find...
or go down there and check.
The nurses, if they're willing to come forth, they'll tell you they work on those people, and they call them the others. I thought it was interesting. They're people. Remember, these people can think and act, but they don't have soul. That's all.
But they don't have a soul.
Prophesized.
Right, that's true.
Oh, that explains why there's so many messed up people in the world right now. Because they're people without souls. I know exactly who I need to send this video to. We've had this conversation recently. This is gonna explain a lot.
That's true.
Now we have another agenda that's going on, so you have to be careful of all this.
Uh-oh.
There are many extraterrestrials that would like to be in on the game right now. So
Duh.
They can sometimes will come into these physical beings that we've made to manipulate them.
I see.
So now you have a combination effort that you have to look at, and discernment. You have to discern what the game is. Well, just figure that most of the leaders we have in the world have been bought and paid for or created to think a certain way.
And then it was such a hit. It was way bigger than I even anticipated. And now, I think we're gonna make part 2. I think you have to. I think you have to. They kill you if you try to walk away.
What was he talking about? What was Jack Black just talking about? Nah, hold on. Oh my God, my brain is rattled right now with this information. Ooh, I'm about to go down a rabbit hole, I swear. And I'm probably gonna end up taking y'all with me. What else are we about to see in this compilation? Gosh.
Transvestites.
Oh, here we go again.
They're transitioning from one thing to another. We're transhumanized.
They're transitioning the human race to another species.
Oh, say it ain't so. Say it ain't. Oh, they doing this everywhere? They're doing the whole planet?
Okay. And it won't be long. It'll be in the 2020s, Doc. If you survive to 2030 without any of these genetic therapies injected into you, these biological operating systems, if you can survive to the 2030s and not become a human antenna, it's not just going to be one thing. It's going to be multiple things that they're going to try to get into our bodies.
Right.
If you can survive to the 2030s as a pure human being.
Oh, clearly this video was made before the year 2020. What have we seen? What happened in the year 2020? The Rona came, and then they injected us with some stuff. Not me. I wouldn't one of them. But still, the Rona alone, I haven't been the same since. Caught the Rona a year later. I got 5 different health diagnoses. Whatever the word. You know what I'm trying to say. I'm sick. I'm tired of all this BS. Come on now. Let's get it together.
You're going to be in a small minority of resistors.
That's what I'm aiming for. To be in that small minority of resistors that's resisting what they're trying to do to us.
Of course, they'll call you terrorists, insurrectionists, enemies, infidels. But you will be the remaining purebloods. You'll be the remaining human purebloods on the planet. Satan is eliminating God's creation.
Satan is eliminating God's creation. If you listen to the book or read the book or listen to the audio version on YouTube, which I highly recommend, Outwitting the Devil by Napoleon Hill, the devil will tell you himself that he controls 98% of all people. The other 2 are controlled by his opposition, who we all call God. So it wouldn't be too difficult for this sort of thing to happen if what that book implies is true. But I have faith, as should you.
That's why the time until Jesus Christ comes back, I believe it's very short. Nothing like this has ever happened, Doc. Nothing. It's never happened like this on this scale.
Jesus, come save us.
We don't know what kind of technology that they had before the Great Flood. But the Bible says that Noah was pure in his generation.
Yes.
Does that mean he and his family were the last purebloods left on the planet? Just go online and study synthetic biology. It will shock you to find out what advances in synthetic biology they've already made.
This man is talking about it too.
One of the other interesting aspects of this particular article, though, is how 6G is going to operate in a whole new environment. It's not going to be operating like 5G is now, basically radio waves and wires. Mm-hmm. It's going to operate in the light. It's going to be transmitted through light. Lucifer, he's the angel of light, and so, and we're talking 6G. I just think it's interesting that, even in our own studio here, LED lights, they're pervasive. Every light you own nowadays,
is an LED light. And I didn't know that it turns on and off 1,000,000 times a second. But they can now use light to transfer information. And so that's one of the words that we've come across at these.
And they're doing it at the speed of light too. This has me thinking of a whole nother theory, right? If, like we heard in the other video, the previous video right before this one, if the Greys or some of these extraterrestrials are giving us some of these technologies and these abilities that we would not have had otherwise, or would have been prolonged throughout our own evolution, you know, scientific, mathematical evolution. What if these Greys, what if these aliens are demonic? Oh, now I'm over here thinking about something somebody else told me. They believe that the aliens are demonic. They believe that they're evil. But this right here kind of has me piecing that information together the same way. Oh my God.
Tech conferences is the word ubiquitous. In other words, it's everywhere, everywhere you look. What's more ubiquitous than light?
Satan wants to be able to say he is the light of the world.
Satan wants to be able to say that he's the light of the world. I got a phone call to make after this. Hold on.
That's what it comes down to.
Right.
Wow. He duplicates through technology everything that God is through his being. And Satan wants to be able to say that he, Satan, is the light of the world.
Yes.
And that's where he's moving. So we watch this advancement in technology. God could set it back. He could mess up their technology, mess up their plans. We don't know. But if we continue on the path that we're on, there's not going to be a lot of pure blood humans on the planet in the 2030s.
Man, there was so much to unpack there. And if this video wasn't controversial enough, y'all don't come after me. This video, as far as me presenting it to y'all, is for entertainment purposes only. Do with the information as you please, but take it with a grain of salt. All of this could be fake. All of this could be them trying to scare us, but it could also be real. Comment down below, what are your thoughts and opinions on what we just heard? Now to the next video.
In our own galaxy alone, which has 100 billion star systems, the same number of stars that we have as we have neurons in our brain, interestingly, that we're dealing with civilizations just in our own galaxy, which is one of billions, that are able to go through interstellar space. Now, I want to touch on this for a moment because it deals with a little bit that Linda referred to in terms of trans-dimensional or other dimensions. And the technologies and the sciences dealing with this subject are what we have termed trans-dimensional interstellar, TDIS. And this refers to very advanced sciences and technologies where there is a nexus between electromagnetism in the magnetic field, gravitational forces in three-dimensional space and time, and what Dr. John at Princeton in the engineering lab began to prove is the science of consciousness, which was actually an issue that I did talk a fair amount with Lawrence Rockefeller about. Now, a lot of people say, well, this gets into the deep end of the pool very quickly, and in fact it does. But I think that it's important to understand that if you're dealing with civilizations that have gotten here, and that's what we're dealing with, you're not dealing with something that can go just straight through space at the speed of light even, because the speed of light is too slow. And I remember when I was having dinner with CIA Director Woolsey and his wife, and actually the really most insightful question came from Dr. Woolsey, who at the time was Chief Operating Officer of the National Academy of Sciences. And she said, what I want to know is, how are these civilizations communicating across the vastness of space? Because your cell phone and radio waves are going at the speed of light. And I said, yes, that's just too slow. Speed of light is way too slow. And I had I had a gut check. I said, do I tell her the truth and lose all credibility as a scientist?
Ooh, I ain't seen this one. This is good. Kind of like how we had that UFO hearing press conference earlier this year. This is that essentially, but a few years back, about 10 years back to be exact. And this is where Dr. Stephen Greer is doing the same thing, but disclosing some information. This is fascinating. I've never seen this before. And he's saying everything as if it's just a matter of fact, and everybody is listening to him, not to discredit him, but to consume the information also as if it's all just a matter of fact. Now, he says that he's about to say something that's going to probably make him sound a little loony, because a woman asked him, how are these beings communicating throughout space? And he's saying that, hey, speed of light, speed of sound is simply too slow.
And a doctor. Or do I tell her something that sounds scientific, but that's really not true? And ever since then, I have vowed that if someone is intelligent enough to ask the question, I will provide the answer as truthfully as I can. So I turned to her and I said, well, Dr. Woolsey, it's like this. It turns out thinking is the best way to travel. And the speed of thought is not quantifiable. However, when you start getting into the new physics that have been done, where you have the ability to teleport across vast distances instantly, and this has been done with particles, but we're talking about civilizations that can do it with entire spacecraft and occupants. You're dealing with an entirely new physics. But their communication devices and their own innate abilities allow for thought-actuated events. And I know Dr. Wood may mention this, that he discovered when he was doing some work for old man McDonald of McDonnell Douglas, that he looked into some cases where in some meetings with these ETs involved a little box, and there was a direct thought communication, but it was also being facilitated through electronics.
Oh my God. This pieces together. Remember that clip that I showed you guys of the alien that was almost being interrogated and he was starting to have some respiratory issues? Y'all remember that clip? What did they say about that clip in regards to how that alien was communicating with them? Through thought. Mind you, that's an old clip. It's a really old clip. It might have been from what, the 70s, I think it was, maybe. Y'all, look, when the information starts to piece itself together here, there's some things that this man have said that makes us believe what he's saying is true. But in recent times, there's some things that he said that discredits him quite a great deal. But nonetheless, this is fascinating.
And this is something that we call technology-assisted consciousness and thought. And this is a very specific area of study that I've really devoted about 22 years to, which may be beyond the scope of this hearing. But I think that in terms of just bringing this issue around, there are so many aspects of it that are very exciting from the point of view of science, technology, and understanding the universe and ourselves. And also, who are we? And where did we come from? And how is it that we exist in this cosmos that is and I agree with Edgar Mitchell on this, that is a conscious quantum hologram that is awake and that we are all part of. And that mind itself is the ultimate final frontier, not space, but consciousness in mind.
I like that. I like that a lot. But people can also look at that and think, you know what? He's trying to deflect. You know, he's trying to get people to look more within and stop reaching for the stars, because they may find something that they might not want to hear or see. It's like, but explore the mind, because there's already so little that we know about the human mind. Why not just keep on that subject than to try to take matters to outer space, where things are far more vast than we can ever imagine?
Check this video out with me. This guy's going to explain that fossils are not millions of years old. Let's watch it.
If you grew up like I did, taught in a state-run school system, you probably have a ready answer: millions of years. I grew up learning the typical evolutionary story party line regarding rocks and fossils. That slow fossilization ideas were true, and that fossils were millions of years old. I read books with detailed and colorful diagrams showing that fossils formed mostly when animals and or plants died in watery environments. I'd typically use the canned example I'd seen and heard so often, a fish. According to the typical series of pictures I'd seen depicted in a wide assortment of books, a fish would die, sink to the bottom of a lake, and get slowly covered in layers of silt and mud. As millions of years would pass, the sediment got compressed as new layers gathered. The mud would turn into rock, the fish would become permineralized, and voila, it became a fossil. If I'd just taken a few seconds to think about it, I would have easily realized that what my own eyes observed is that dead fish tend to float and bloat. And the ones that were at the bottom were chewed up by crabs and little nippers quite quickly. Yeah. And even the bones didn't last all that long.
Dang, you know what? 100% facts. When you think about that, if you take the idea of a fish turning into a fossil out of the equation, you would think about the fact that, all right, fish die, they float. The ones that fall to the bottom, they're going to get eaten up by the bottom dwellers. Heck, I've had fish tanks before. I've seen exactly that happen. Some of them will die, some of them will float, some of them will sink. Regardless, they will get eaten up by even the other goldfish to the point where there's hardly any bones left in there. I know this to be true. You guys know this to be true. But these fossils that we see of fish, and it's the whole entire fish? How did that happen? Let's keep watching.
Realize now that I've been taught what to think, not how to think. Most people, even Christians, still believe that it takes millions of years for rocks to form and a living organism to become a fossil. I realize now that a major reason I never doubted these ideas is that I'd never been shown an alternative for how fossils could have formed. I never heard one person in my earlier years ever mention that a giant catastrophe, especially the Great Deluge recorded in the Bible, could have buried creatures rapidly and completely and formed fossils very quickly. I realize that evolutionary researchers can't explain many things according to that long age paradigm, which is likely why they've more recently begun to embrace and incorporate catastrophic explanations into their evolutionary system. Like why they've found fossilized animals in the middle of very specific short-term activities and actions, like eating or giving birth. For example,
oh wow, yeah. Look, I've never seen fossils like this before. Man, this is such a great informative video explaining how you find fossils of animals in the middle of eating and giving birth. Look at this. This creature, this whale, maybe is giving birth. How does this thing become a fossil, both of them, in the middle of this? It had to be some sort of catastrophic event that occurred that put these animals all in a state to be fossilized so rapidly. And most people will think, duh, Artofkickz, use your brain. They're talking about when the freaking meteorite hit the earth and the earth, they going engulfed in flames or froze over, whatever the case might have been. Duh, that was the catastrophic event, but could there have been others?
For example, at the Creation Museum in the United States, we have a fossil fish displayed that was swallowing another fish while they were buried. Another is the fossil of a horseshoe crab with its tracks visible in the sediment it was traveling along. This indicates that not only was it buried at lightning speed according to the common geological perspective, but that the right chemical conditions in the sediment for rapid fossilization to protect the specimen and its tracks must have been present, eliminating the need for any kind of deep time process to account for the fossilization process. And even more rapidly decaying soft-bodied animals like jellyfish have been found in Australia, Canada, Germany, the United States, and other countries. And this presents an incredible conundrum for evolutionary scientists, because jellyfish decay so rapidly they typically leave no trace whatsoever after a very short time. Now,
wow, so for there to be fossils of jellyfish, meaning that fossilization process had to happen in rapid succession. This is so fascinating to me.
Fossils are typically embedded in rock, which means if the fossilization of an organism occurred rapidly, then the rock they are trapped in must have formed quickly as well. Most of us have been told that it takes millions of years for large portions of strata we see around the world to have formed. How would that explanation fit with the clock in the rock found in Washington, USA in 1975? So we know that rocks can form rapidly under the right conditions. When you realize this was a real event, you can understand that the flood would have swept away plants and animals, creating huge amounts of biomass and burying them in waterborne sediments. This would mean many were buried en masse, which would have created huge fossil graveyards, of which we find many around the world. The Messel Pit in Germany, fossils of birds, amphibians, reptiles, insects, fish, and mammals are found in the same place. Not only that, are so well preserved, they show color, fur, and food in their stomachs. Fossils have been made in a laboratory in 24 hours, mimicking naturally occurring fossils to a T. This news was published in...
Wait, he said fossils have been made in a laboratory, mimicking naturally made fossils to a T. To a T. In 24 hours, these fossils were made. All right, tell me more. Tell me more.
A secular article from the University of Bristol called Creating Synthetic Fossils in the Lab sheds light on fossilization processes, which mentions that the experimental samples, or what they refer to as synthetic fossils, are compared to real fossils, supposedly thousands or millions of years old, and they were basically identical.
What? The fossils were identical? The synthetically made lab fossils were identical to the fossils that were created over the expansion of 1 million plus or millions of years. But were they? That would also lead us to believe that maybe it wasn't millions of years ago when the dinosaurs were around. Maybe it could have been a few 100,000.
Not just visually, but also microscopically, as revealed.
I mean, heck, they did say that there was an island somewhere in China or Japan or something where it was uninhabited by humans, and someone went there and discovered that there were indeed some freaking dinosaurs there, living dinosaurs there right now. I don't know how real it is. I would love to see some footage from that, but maybe it hadn't been that long since dinosaurs actually roamed and inhabited the earth. Fascinating.
Not just visually, but also microscopically, as revealed using a scanning electron microscope.
Microscopically, these fossils are identical. The lab-grown and the natural-grown one. What?
Scientists even found that just as in the naturally occurring fossils, the 24-hour fossils contain preserved microscopic pigment-bearing structures called melanosomes that reside within the organic films in feathers and lizards treated, while unstable protein and fatty tissues degrade and are lost. This experiment, accomplished using a hydraulic press, shows that under the right conditions, fossils can form very rapidly.
So this is a U.S. document from 1947 that was declassified by the FBI, and it's wild. But this memorandum acknowledges the existence of alien presence. Quote, very serious situation may develop at any time with regard to the, quote, flying saucers. If one of these should be attacked, the attacking plane will almost certainly be destroyed. He lists like 9 bullet points summarizing what he has observed from these flying saucers. Number 1, part of the disc carries crews, others are under remote control. Their mission is peaceful. The visitors contemplate settling on this plane.
Not welcome, but glad you're peaceful.
These visitors are human-like, but much larger in size. So we're making connections.
Giants?
Talking about fallen angels.
Yeah.
They do not embody Earth people, but come from their own world. They do not come from any planet, as we use this word, but from an etheric planet which penetrates our own and is not perceptible to us.
Yo, I never heard that before. That the aliens could be coming from not another planet, but a ether. What do you say? What was that word? Ether planet that penetrates our own world, but not necessarily separate from ours, or is separate from ours. What? I've never heard of anything like this. Gosh, and I watched The Flash on TV, and they don't even be talking about this, I don't think.
It is not perceptible to us.
So it's with us, but we can't see it.
Correct.
Dimension.
That's fascinating. Think about it. That would explain why we have this idea that there's no possible way that aliens or extraterrestrials of any sort could be coming to us from a neighboring planet that inhabits life. Think about it. Everything that we know about space travel tells us that there's no humanly possible way that anything can travel through space. Obviously, extraterrestrials aren't human in nature in the sense that we are, but still, nothing that we would think would have a physical body, anything similar to ours, could possibly travel through space at the speed that these things would have to travel in order to get to us. So this theory would make so much more sense in regards to how it is that these aliens are able to get to us with no problem, because they're basically an extension of us already. Now I feel less alone in the universe, because I'm pretty sure I belong to them, and they left me here. I don't know why they left me here with all these crazy folks on this planet, but I need them to come get me, because I'm ready to go home. Seriously, come get me right now. Like, you can take me from this spot and take me with you. ET phone home. I'm phoning home.
When the dark web reveals the truth, this video was posted anonymously on the dark web with this title.
Okay.
It shows real images of giants from ancient times.
Pause. These pictures look real. I ain't even gonna hold you. These pictures look real, but you know how AI can be nowadays. Golly, these pictures look real. How come he got a shadow, but this guy don't? Alright, his face look a little wonky, man. This is what giants were supposed to look like. They look ape-like, almost like Bigfoot.
From ancient times.
Wait a minute. This thing look like a freaking tree.
Accompanied by a message. Here's the truth about giants. In ancient times, colossal creatures reigned as absolute masters.
Is this supposed to be... what? He gotta be wearing something. Because his head looked normal, like a normal white dude, but everything else is like fur on his body or something. Is that supposed to be his feet? Look, I'm so confused right now. But one thing I hate about these dang on TikTok videos sometimes is they will have freaking double background music going. This thing got both fast beat and slow beat background music playing. It ain't me, y'all, I promise.
Casting a shadow of terror over the land. These titanic giants were the living embodiment of fear and dread. Their footsteps...
They were the living embodiment of fear and dread? Then why are these people over here taking pictures with them so calmly? These pictures, man, why are we just now getting pictures like this? They had us thinking that these dang on giants died out before cameras were even invented. How are we getting these pictures all of a sudden? And how come there are so many of them, and how come they're so good? The nature of AI today, can't trust it.
Sounded like cataclysmic thunder, causing the earth itself to tremble with every step. Their massive bodies, bristling with huge muscles, seemed sculpted from the darkest nightmares. Their eyes, gleaming with an unearthly glow, stared out at the world with an unhealthy gleam. Their shrill roars tore through the air, sending shivers through the hearts of the bravest. These ancient giants moved with deliberate slowness, as if aware of their own overwhelming superiority.
Nah, look at my man's face down here. Tell me that face don't look real in the sense. It looked like AI tried to make a real picture and messed up. I don't know, y'all. Do y'all believe these pictures? Like, who had these pictures hidden from us for so long, and now they're like, ooh, TikTok. I'm gonna use TikTok to expose the truth, dark web style.
The landscapes they traversed were marked by their passage, with uprooted trees and shaken mountains bearing witness to their devastating power.
Like, if this is a freaking giant, how is it even living? You can see through its bones, man. There's no way. They ain't say a dang thing about them giants being fallen angels.
You know what the darkest conspiracy theory about aliens is?
I don't know if I'm ready for it.
That Earth is essentially a farm, and human beings are the vessels that contain souls, and they want us because this is how they create souls.
What? Earth is a farm. I was thinking that he was going to go in a different direction when he mentioned the part about us humans having souls, which is that these extraterrestrials or beings of some sort don't have souls, so they're harvesting us humans on Earth so that they can collect our souls. But no, that's not it. He's basically saying that no, this is how they create souls. But what are they doing with the souls that they're creating?
And so they're farming us. They've created us. So we started off as primates, and through some sort of genetic intervention, I'm not saying I believe this. I'm just saying that this is like top of the food chain, put your tinfoil hat on super tight, that they farm us. And that the whole reason why human beings are involved in this conflict, constant conflict, it's all of it is to increase our competition with each other, increase our ability to control resources, which will increase our technology, which will ultimately lead to us creating this being that we're going to create, this artificially intelligent super god.
Interesting theory, but obviously one that don't make a whole lot of sense, because as long as we've been around, the way we have developed our technical advances throughout our different societies scattered across this planet, America, Russia, China, whoever, why is it that if this was the plan, how come things didn't unfold a lot sooner than they did, or a lot sooner than they have been? How come we aren't already these robots or these androids? Good theory, though.
Gave them this abundant environment, right? They put these rats in there. Mind you, these the same rats with the same genetical molecular structure, with nothing different. They both came from the same mama, the same daddy, the same family tree, right? So they took these rats, they put one in a good environment, then they put the other 100 rats in a bad environment where they didn't get water. If they did get water, the water actually had acids in it. They made sure they didn't give them the regular food. I think they gave them like cat food or something like that with a bunch of pellets that was inside of them, right? They stuck them on top of each other. And they made sure that the space was very, very small. They never cleaned any poop out of the maze. They pissed out of the maze, and they left them in there. They left them in there for 4 months, and they watched how their behavior changed. They went back and they got the actual rats that came from the good environment, and they put them in the maze. They ended up going through the maze very, very fast. Then they ended up going to get the rats that they put in the bad environment and put them in the maze, and they didn't know how to even make it through the first section of the maze. So he like, maybe this is a coincidence. So he did it. So what he did was he switched the rats. He took the rats that was smart, that made it through the maze, that was in the good environment, and he put them in the bad environment. Then he took the rats that was in the bad environment, that was dummies that couldn't make it through the maze at all, and he put them in the good environment. He waited 4 months. Then he took them back out. The same rats that was good and smart, that was in the good environment, that he put in the bad environment, now they couldn't make it through the maze. The same rats that was in the bad environments, that was dummies that couldn't make it through the maze, he put them in a good environment. Now they making it through the maze and making it through life just fine. So he said, damn, it ain't the genetics. It ain't who these people is as individuals. It's the community. It's the environment that you put these biological entities in that changes the way they interact with their environment and with themselves. Did you know he did another 6-month experiment on the same rats that he left in the bad environment? Guess what they started doing? Killing each other. Some of the male rats started humping other male rats. Homosexuality. Look, the other rats that was at the bottom that didn't have the food, they went upstairs to the other rats and started robbing them for food and water. I said, damn, this sound like your typical project. Don't this sound like the PJs? This is a real rat experiment. So it made me start questioning. I had to sit back and really rub my chin.
They turned into robbing rats?
They turned into robbing homosexual
What else are you going to do?
rats.
It's a survival mechanism at this point.
Now check this out though, guys. It was a selective group of female rats, and I really want y'all to look this up when y'all get home today. Watch this. It will fuck your mind up. The female rats, they started pampering themselves. They used to let their children just do what the ever. They started pampering themselves. All they was worried about.
The hood rats. Which one is
it? See, these was the hood rats.
Okay.
The hood rats, right? Exactly. So the hood rats. I'm gonna quote that. The hood rats. All they did was pamper themselves.
The hood rats. Yo, that's a term that we use for certain type of females in those type of environments in the hood. You call them hood rats. That, yo, they conducted this experiment on rats. They see that there's so many similarities within our DNA structure to actual rats that a lot of the tests when it comes to certain medicines or any of the experiments that they're trying to conduct, they use rats as the test subjects because of how similar our DNA structure is, something like that, right? And dang, they did this test on these rats, and they were like, all right, we're going to do the same thing to the black folks. We're going to put them in this horrible environment, not created by them. The black people didn't create the hood. We're like, we're going to create the hood. We're going to put them, we're going to stick them over there and watch them destroy each other. It's crazy.
The only thing that they worried about was their fur. They worried about their weight. They didn't worry about their children anymore. They weren't worried about the mama papa rat. The only thing that they focused on was their actual cells. And then the father rat started going to other different parts of the actual rat experiment cage and started like bullying on the younger children. It was crazy, man. Look, it gets so deep when you really start watching it. It even started happening with the older male rats in the community started younger males in the younger female rats. Same thing that happens in the ghetto where a young girl will get touched on by their uncle, or a young male will get touched on by their uncle or their auntie. This happens. So it's like, damn, is this rat experiment that's going on in Tyrone, rat maze experiments, the same shit that's going on with us in these communities? And then you have to ask yourself, in the projects. Right. And who built these communities? We didn't build these communities. We ain't put the liquor stores in these communities. We ain't put dope in here. You got something called Russian AK-47s. Ain't never been to Russia. You got Japanese SKs. We ain't never been to Japan. We got grenades that come from... We got all these different things in the community of America that's outside of America when ain't never left the block.
Exactly. Ain't never left the block. I'm so glad that he said that. Because I know when I was living in similar areas, I had never even left the block. When I left the block for the first time, I was 30 years old, and I was like, you know what, I'm gonna get on the airplane and go somewhere. I was thinking about it earlier today. That was the first time I had ever left the South, was at 30 years old, and I went on the airplane and flew to California by myself. I broke all 3 of my first time flying rules. I didn't want to fly a long flight. I flew a long flight. Didn't want to fly a connecting flight. Flew a connecting flight, and didn't want to fly alone. I flew alone.
How was they getting there? This set up. So once I realized, like, me and my people is in a rat maze. This is a project. We are being psychologically experimented on. That's when I said, okay, this is my motivation. It's time to break the psychological chains of my people. Yep.
That's good motivation. It's real good motivation, my guy.
I am about to show you guys something creepy, but just bear with me. So this is a tree, and whenever my kids do not finish like their fruits or their vegetables, I put it around this tree. There goes an anthill right there, and an anthill right here. So I figured, you know, that ants would eat the fruit. No, they have not picked it at all. Whatever pieces you see missing, those are just like bites that my kids have already taken out of the fruit. Okay, now hold on, let me show you something else. This is an organic blackberry bush that I've been growing in this pot since last year. When I woke up this morning, there is a trail of ants making their way to eat the blackberries, but they will not eat the other fruit that I bought from the grocery store.
How is it that these ants are so smart that they know to stay away from this harmful food that clearly we aren't smart enough to do? But these ants are. They're smart enough to stay away from these harmful foods that they know can make them sick, because they probably tried it. They're like, ooh, wait, hold on. I don't feel right after eating that they keep leaving around these dang on trees. You got to think those little tiny ants are probably way more sensitive to the harmful chemicals that are being put in our food than we are. It takes a lot more consumption from us to feel the effects that those little guys were probably feeling. Right.
They make a hole in, and they tie string around, and then they put it all around the body, but they're naked, and they got this tattoo on the private with like little piercings.
Okay.
Not like earrings, but like little gold piercings around their private. Yeah. And they all dance around with skulls on in the church there.
What kind of church?
Okay.
So they have skulls, like the teachers and the staff, they got 20 skulls each.
How do you know?
The way she's telling the story, it doesn't sound like it's something that this child is making up. It sounds like a matter of fact, right? Oh my God, protect the babies.
Got 20 each.
Yes, because I counted once. There were like, there's one here, and then there's one here, And there's one on like here, like it looks like skulls everywhere. On the knees, on the elbows. It looks like armor.
Satanic ritual. You see it down here at the bottom. What does it sound like?
Okay, so if I was to try and find these skulls, where would I find them?
Yes, in the church.
Where in the church?
So there's this secret rooms. They got secret rooms.
Go on, tell me, how do I find the secret?
So when you go in the secret rooms, because they hide it in loads of places.
Would you be able to help me find them, would you?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes,
so
but they just hide them anywhere. They just hide it like in one place, then they move to other place, then they move to other place. This just.
Okay, so.
Where is this girl at today? What year is this being? This was 2014. There should be a follow-up interview with this girl now. She might be, I don't know, either in her late teens or maybe a young adult now. I would love to hear her tell this story again. It would probably be more detailed.
I go into the church now.
Yes, and they hide. Usually they hide it in their houses because they have parties in their houses.
Okay.
Because Mr. Hoddings, my teacher, he lives in Highgate.
Right.
Yes. You can see his house because his Porsche.
Yeah.
He got Porsche and it's just at the front of his house.
Okay. So, how do you know he keeps them in his house?
Because I know because of...
Do not search for the terms discussed in this video on Yandex or elsewhere, as you could be committing a crime. The findings have been reported to authorities and the research supervised by legal counsel. No illegal imagery is shown. Do not contact or harass anyone mentioned.
What is this? Y'all, by the way, this is the first time I'm seeing any of this stuff, so y'all are about to be just as shocked as I am.
After thinking for a while on how to best disseminate the information I've received, I've settled on dropping this particular discovery in its own shorter video.
The problem now is that people now know that I am interested in lost glove photos.
And the rest of the leads and new testimonies will be in part 3.
And then they made each little boy in turn come up and stab him.
I'm doing this because I consider this finding a bit more time sensitive, and I've already received veiled threats and attempts to hack my social media. I knew I might receive some trolls when giving out an email and asking for information, which on one hand has proven remarkably useful. But I wasn't prepared for how sophisticated some of these phishing attempts would be. While some are, of course, benign spam attempts that we all get, others seem designed solely to intimidate, like trying to reset my Twitter password, or calling my phone, but not saying anything. Among the threats I've received was this one. Quote, "You have no idea what you are getting into here, or what kind of danger you are in. Think enemy of the state meets arrival. Stay far away from," and then it shows my location. Let's assume for a second that this person's not a troll, and they really do know something I don't. Well then, what is it exactly that I'm getting into here? What is it that I'm in danger of?
On looking into it, it appeared that this girl was one of many.
A former Scotland Yard detective, John Wedger, was part of a small team investigating allegations in London.
We had dozens of young kids aging from 9 to 14 years old.
But when Officer Wedger, quote, dug too deep, he was given a similar warning.
I was brought before someone who is now a very, very high-ranked officer in the UK indeed. And he said, "You will be thrown to the wolves. You have no idea who and what you are dealing with." He said, "I'm warning you now, you must back away."
Although it can be disconcerting, and at times I do wonder if what I'm doing here is even worth it. As of now, I have no intention of stopping.
What?
Now, the new information you're about to see ostensibly involves Tom Hanks.
First of all, it looks like an ad for Chevy.
Whether or not Hanks is aware of any of this remains to be seen. Nonetheless, some of the images he's posted to his social media are not only relevant to the findings, it's how they were discovered. The person who provided this tip wishes to remain anonymous under the alias Veritas Fatior.
Not Tom Hanks.
But why Tom Hanks? An actor I've loved since I was a kid.
Right.
A man whose films are consistently inspirational, influential, and iconic. This is true. But it's also true that recently, a new range of theories have begun to emerge, showing a different side to the Hollywood actor. Many of the claims are unfounded and nonsensical. I'm not saying they're all, but as I did with part 1, no theories will be given, just information and context. So one reason some have recently changed their perspective of Hanks surrounds the testimony of a former Hollywood actor, Isaac Cappy.
Oh, I'm not going to talk about Tom Hanks either, who is also... Well, Tom Hanks, folks, is a... I'm sorry if this is the kind of bursting your bubble, all this information is new.
Isaac claimed that within Hollywood, a high society is involved in child trafficking.
Yeah, Tom Hanks. Tom Hanks, guys.
It's so crazy when we hear these, you know, these allegations come out. I've heard this man say this mess before, right? I'm not trying to discredit him or anything, but you wonder if it's such a high number of child trafficking happening within the United States. Whatever happens to these kids? Do they become sacrifices? Do they eventually get released back into society, but told not to tell their stories? What happens to them? Because it doesn't seem like, you know, if this stuff has been going on for decades and decades, heck, even a century, that we would hear more from the victims if they are still around.
Called out, no response.
Information he claimed was privy to because of his time spent among Hollywood's gentility.
I'm in their source code. These people are being taken up north to San Francisco, some sort of R&D project for a new Terminator.
And this, make no mistake, this is a cult. There is a widespread cult that is worldwide. And by the way, the proof is in the pudding. If I'm lying, sue me. Sue me. Great. Let's go to court. Let's have discovery.
As Cappy's following grew, he took measures to ensure his safety, one of which he alleged included a, quote, dead man's switch.
What does that do? It means they can't kill me, which is good because I like to stay alive. A dead man switch is basically, it's like if you die, then like stuff happens, okay? Like information goes out. They can try to kill me. You know, good luck with that.
Many expected Cappy to continue expanding upon his testimony. Instead, he uploaded one of his final videos.
My anger at these people, my anger consumed me. Did I lie about Seth Green? No, Seth Green's Am I afraid of something? Well, I should be, because bad things are coming my way.
3 days later, Cappy was found dead in what local authorities assert was a suicide.
That's what they do, right? When these people come out and speak on this stuff, what ends up happening to them? Miraculously, they have pulled the plug on themselves. Why is it that they always pull the plug on themselves? It's always said that, hey, that's the cover-up. They said some crazy stuff, so it makes sense that they're crazy and that they pull the plug on themselves, right? That's the term that I'm going with. But then you have the people that come out and say this type of stuff. They also follow with, hey, if it comes out that I have pulled the plug on myself, don't believe it. It's a lie. I'm not crazy. I wasn't expecting for this clip to be in here. No, sir.
Called him. It's worth noting that Cappy was asked here if he currently felt suicidal.
I'm not suicidal. I'm not suicidal.
Purportedly, Cappy jumped from that bridge and was hit by a truck.
Or somebody threw him.
Soon after, a controversial video began making its rounds on the internet.
What? I'm not sure what I'm seeing, but I know I don't like it. And I'm not zooming in for y'all either. This looks bad. Whatever it is.
You promised you wouldn't hurt my mom and dad if I came back, right?
Right. I won't hurt you either.
A woman named Sarah Ruth Ashcraft accused Tom Hanks of purchasing her from her father. She claims to have most of her childhood.
I depersonalize a lot of this because it's really ugly, tough stuff. And I'm glad something's being done about it
now. Now, her story could be real, but it also could be clout. We do not know. I'm not going to assume that it's real, and I'm not going to assume that it's fake. I'm just listening, like we all are.
Because nobody should have to look back on their childhood memories and realize that the things that they thought were just meaningless and innocent were anything but that.
Now that's fascinating. That is fascinating. And I've heard a lot of people tell stories like that where, you know, when they're manipulated into thinking that this is normal, this is acceptable, only to find out as adults that those things that happened to them as children were not acceptable, were not normal. And now when they think back on the stuff that happened to them, now here's this trauma that just rushes into their spirit out of almost nowhere. And it's like, when they recount what occurred to them or what happened to them, then they just start to think about, okay, this was a lot worse than I realized it was during that time. I knew there was something off about it. I knew didn't feel right. I knew it didn't feel right, but I didn't know it was as bad as it was. A lot of us, and I do mean a lot of us, me included, have been there.
Nobody should have to discover these things about their own life.
I noticed you have this obsession on Instagram with lost gloves.
Well, it's lost objects, but it started with lost gloves. And first of all, there's a story behind them all. What happened? What happened to its mate? How did this glove get lost? Is someone going to keep the other glove at home on the off chance that they're going to pair it up?
Okay, now that I'm not gonna lie, that's Holly weird. That is Holly weird. You, an average person like you and I will see a glove on the ground, and we're what do we think? Oh, somebody lost one of their gloves, you know. We're not thinking that there's this whole other story as to what's going on with the other glove, as if the other glove is being kept somewhere. We're just thinking, well, they lost one glove. They're like, heck, I only got one glove now. Might as well throw this one away. So they toss it in the trash. We're not thinking about the stories behind these missing items, and it's weird.
It's a little bit of, you know, Romeo and Juliet kind of quality.
No, it ain't.
To it.
You're seeing there's a little bit of a hint of sadness.
It's just weird.
These, it's like it's telling you a tale, but you don't know what the tale is.
They're all bittersweet city adventures.
Let's take a look at some of these. I want to put this up. This is one you took, and
yeah. Now
tell me what's going on here. What is this so evocative to you?
Well, first of all, I don't touch them. I just see them and I photograph them. So I have.
You know what your DM.
Oh yeah, it makes sense that he's not touching them. Better not touch them. Better not touch them.
Well, you know, well, it could be a crime scene. Let's not give the cops a break.
That's strange. I ain't gonna hold you. That's different.
Notice
I ain't never even knew this.
that in this image, we see another glove.
Huh?
Notice that in this image, we see another glove. But this time, we also see letters.
Yeah. It looked like SRC USA.
Look closely and spell them out for yourself. What does the top row spell? S-R-C.
I was right.
And what does the bottom row spell? U-S-A.
I was right again. I ain't want to try to pronounce it all out, put it all together, because I wasn't 100% sure if I read those letters correctly.
Here's what happens when you run a search for SRC USA on DuckDuckGo. It shows nothing out of the ordinary. The same goes for the Images tab. And the same also goes for Google.
Okay.
In the trailer update video I uploaded prior, I provided tips for independent researchers to use. Among those was to utilize multiple search engines.
Oh, when I tell you the things that were being shown in that video got so disturbing, was making me so uncomfortable that I had to just skip past it. I couldn't take no more. But we're going to continue the rest of this video. Hopefully it doesn't get that bad again. That was crazy. These videos are starting to weird me out. I need a little break. But anyway, leave your thoughts, comments, and opinions down below. And I'm going to catch y'all in the next one. See ya.